Good morning, afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. If you're watching from Australia, from China, from Romania, from London, or from here in Denver, or maybe you're in Georgia, because we have an amazing guest coming today to talk to us from Georgia. Kenzie Harms is so dear to my heart, and the things that she does are absolutely amazing, victorious, and powerful. And she's coming live to share with us a little bit about what she does and who she is. So stay with us. Let me bring Kenzie Harms back here, and we'll see you soon. Good morning.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Is it afternoon where you are?
It's 12 o'clock officially here, so yes.
Well, good afternoon to you. How are you, Kenzie?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so honored and grateful to have you live with me in Be Victorious. And I'm so excited to bring you live to everybody that is watching and that's following us, just so that so that we can inspire and help other people with the story that you have, with the story of your life, with what you do and how you change lives. And I'm just so honored to have you. Thank you.
I'm so excited. Like, this is fun. I've never been on the other side of being interviewed, so this is a big change for me.
That's awesome. Yes, Kenzie, how do we know each other? How do we become friends?
So our parents work together, and so we grew up basically. I'm from Colorado originally, and that's where my parents' company is. And you live in Denver, so growing up, it was always um, in the company, just around. And then I moved to Georgia when I was 15. So I've been out of Colorado for like 7 years now, which is crazy.
Do you miss Colorado?
I miss the weather and I miss the mountains and I miss like one of my friends. But I'm really glad I moved. That's for sure. I do miss Colorado. Whenever I go back, I get sad to leave, but I'm very thankful I moved to Georgia.
Well, you're always welcome to come back, and I know Colorado Springs is just home to you, and you guys come back quite a bit. So you're very adventurous, and I know it was good. But did you do school here in Colorado?
Yeah,
So
so I went to CSCS, Colorado Springs Christian School, from like pre-K to 8th grade, and I loved CSCS. Like, I have the best memories. I always say if I could go back to a time, it would probably be like elementary and middle school. And a lot of people would not say they'd go back to middle school, but the memories I have from middle school, I miss that a lot. But yeah, so I was at CSCS, and then when I moved to Georgia, I went to like a public high school.
how was moving and being in a new state, new school? Scott is with us. Good morning. Thank you for being here. How
Um,
is going to school, switching states and going to a new school as a young adult? How was that experience?
Yeah, so I remember when my mom told us we were gonna move, I was really excited because my whole mom's side of the family lives in Georgia. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, I get to be closer to my Mimi and my cousins," and everybody goes to Buford, the school that I went to high school at. And I played sports like my whole time, tennis and volleyball. So thankfully, I got involved very quickly to volleyball, and so like that summer was very key for me because I got to, meet girls and then go into school being on the volleyball team. And I mean, I was just on JV, but it was still nice to have like I had like my little volleyball community, so I didn't feel as alone. My brother, he we moved into this awesome neighborhood and he was in 7th grade. So that was a harder time for like transitioning, but he made like the best friends in our neighborhood. So, and he's still like best friends with them today. So it honestly was a great transition. Like, I know a lot of people don't have that same experience, but I'm very thankful that sports and our neighborhood and the community at Buford it was great. Like, I really don't have any complaints about the transition.
That's because you have a victorious attitude,
That's right.
And you're so open and so amazing, and building connections and relationships. And it was easy for you to build that, because that's how you're built. And I think, your parents inspired you to do that, and being in the business of people. And I think that that helped a lot, right?
Yes, for sure. I didn't realize how well I was raised until I got to college because everyone I was around, even at Buford in public school, we all have very similar values, same um, upbringing, everything. And then I get to college and I was like, y'all don't think like I do? Like it was the weirdest transition because I went to a tiny little school in North Carolina. And I mean, like literally the only thing we had was a Walmart. And so we'd go there if we were bored. You don't have service anywhere you go. And I just remember meeting people and no one goes to class. They're all like sleeping in all day. They're not, I mean, not everyone's like confident all the time, but like they weren't confident in what they did. They didn't work hard and they just kind of thought that life was supposed to be handed to them. And I was like, wait, what? How do you? I was just so shocked to just realize that there are other people in the world. I had my own little bubble. And then I go to college and it's just popped. And I'm like, wow, what's going on here?
Yes. Wow. Wow. Tell us about, I know, so now you're in college, and where is college?
Yeah, so I'm at the University of Georgia now, and I was at Western Carolina. So that's a little school in North Carolina for 2 years. I went there because I had really bad grades in high school, and I was not a great. I mean, I tried really hard, but the effort and the grades did not correlate, and so I couldn't even get in state. And one of the reasons that we moved is because there's this thing called the Hope Scholarship in Georgia, where if you have good grades, you can basically get your college paid for. So my mom told my dad and was like, "We're gonna get the kids, they'll have free college, all this stuff." And then my brother and I both didn't even get it. So it was cheaper, ended up being cheaper for me to go to school in North Carolina. And then I knew I wasn't gonna stay there, but I didn't really know what I was gonna do. So then right during COVID, actually, I transferred to UGA. And they have like this amazing journalism program, and that's what I'm in now. But transferring during COVID was a tough, tough time. But Grady, I'm in like it's called Grady, and it's the best program, one of the best programs in the country. So I'm very thankful I'm in it now. But it was a tough transition from two different colleges for sure.
And you did just amazingly well, because you're victorious.
Yeah, I got very involved quickly. But even during COVID, I just kind of sat in my room and did stuff on Zoom, but it was hard. COVID, I mean, everyone was hit very
Yes.
hard with COVID, but
Yes.
I was thankful I kind of had that just a mindset to where, okay, I'm going to do whatever I can in this season to be okay. I know COVID's going to get over soon. I thought. Um,
Yes.
and so, yeah, it was good.
And it was good. Tell me about the experience you had going on something that not everybody gets to go, and how did you make that decision to go to Hawaii? And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so well, what's funny is I have always wanted to travel. Thankfully, my parents, we traveled a lot with their company also. So I've been to Hawaii like a million times
Right.
just because I was with the company.
Yes.
And I've always wanted to travel. But then when was it? So after I transferred, I wanted to do study abroad programs. And I got into like four, but they were all canceled because of COVID. So I was like, I want to still do this. So I actually last summer went to backpack Peru with one of my friends who was actually in my parents' company. So I actually backpacked in Peru for like 20 days, and I was going to stay like all summer and do all South America, but COVID was so bad, so we just didn't. Um but I've always wanted to just like see the world in a different way because I feel like when I grew up, it was always at resorts and it was always like top-notch kind of service, but I go to, South America where the world is completely different. And I stayed in hostels and I just backpacked around, meeting everyone from different walks of life. Like I met people from Israel while the bombings were going on in Israel, and I met Venezuelan refugees, and it was crazy because it really just opened my eyes because I know in America you kind of have that Americanized, like the world is perfect and you forget the problems are real. So I ended up doing that, and that changed my whole perspective on traveling too, especially like my mom's like, oh, well, you got to stay at a resort sometimes. And I'm like, no, totally. Like I'll stay at a resort again, but I love just the being in a hostel and just meeting so many people, and like I'm still friends with them, and it was just cool. So then I got back and I'm doing journalism. So I took a lot of videos and I wrote and stuff just about my experience there. And then there was this app that I met some girl she hiked the Andes Mountains, or no. She was avocado farming in the Andes Mountains, and she's from like North Carolina. I'm like, how the heck did you do that? And there was this app, I don't even remember the app, but you basically go online and they tell you, or you can go anywhere in the world and it will give you a place to stay in exchange for work.
Okay.
So I looked into it, and you could go really anywhere. A lot of places were still annoying with COVID, but I wanted to go. I was like, this. I've always wanted to also do like mission trips, but I never done that before. So I was like, this is way cheaper than spending like $3,000 on a mission trip to Africa when I can't really do that for a week.
Yes.
So then I forced my brother to come with me. I found a family farm in Hawaii.
Oh
And
my
so we
God.
flew to Hawaii and stayed there for 2 weeks, and we would be up at 6 a.m. to 12 or 11:30, working in the morning. We'd feed the chickens, clean the coops, just the gritty stuff. And we did it for 2 weeks and met so many awesome people, and it was amazing. It really was. It was the best experience ever.
Wow. What would you tell somebody that wants to do that but doesn't know where to start and something is holding them back from doing that? You experience, like you left the country and the continent, right? And you went on an island and you worked on a farm and you didn't know how is it going to be? You didn't know the family. You didn't know. Yes, you went with your brother, but if there's somebody that wants to do that and there's something that's holding them back, what would you tell them?
I would say just do it. I mean, I'm pretty fearless, and I don't care a lot about a lot. Like, I don't know, I don't let things really hold me back. But I would just say that the experience of just going out and doing something a little different every day, or even, I mean, flying to Hawaii, like, I think everybody just needs to do something out of their comfort zone every day. Like, do something that's going to make you uncomfortable. And I think the uncomfortable things are going to lead to just growth and prosperity in your just like well-being, because I feel like so many of us, we get comfortable and we get in the motions, and it's not going to do anything for you. So it was just, I would just say just do it.
Just do it, no matter what.
Just don't let other people, and everybody, oh my gosh, people were like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get kidnapped in Hawaii, oh, you're gonna get killed in Peru, and I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm seriously not going to, and I'm gonna enjoy it and just be thankful that I even get the opportunity to go.
Right. People are scared and they all try to hold you back from your experiences, right?
It's so weird.
It is. They like to project on people that it might be that they want to do that, but they're scared and they don't know how to, so they're trying to stop you because they don't know how to. So many times. But now in college, I know that you are involved in something big.
I guess journalism.
And you are working a program for children and helping children study or learn. You want to talk about that? Is that something that you want to share with us? You wrote an article that I read, and when I read that, I thought my initial thought was Kenzie has to be on Be Victorious because your attitude and the way you approach and the way you want to help and what you do is just makes such a big difference in the lives of others. So tell me about um, the study program for children.
Yeah, so I got assigned to do like I could choose whatever project I wanted this whole semester and create a full multi-platform story. And so my whole family are in education, and my aunt actually created this curriculum called social emotional learning at Buford, and she created this whole it's like an 8-week course that really just teaches kids how to um, foster their mental health and how if your mental health is not okay, then you're not going to do well in school. Like all these outside factors are just coming in from all different directions, and if you're not able to understand how to process it, then you're not going to do well in the future or in the situation that you're in. So I kind of just investigated what was going on and how kids honestly were so neglected during COVID, and we don't really talk about it. They were the ones that were really just hurt the most by the pandemic, in my opinion. The masks and the isolation and putting kids in situations that they shouldn't stay in. And school is a place where a kid can go and escape for 7 hours a day. And they weren't able to do that for 2 years. So I wanted to just talk about what the effects were. And so with this social emotional learning, I went to like watch my aunt and just see the what they do. And basically um, they create games and they create bonding experiences where people can just come together, like random kids they just throw together, and they have to make a game where it's like, okay, they made like skee ball or they made basketball out of paper. So it just like makes their brains kind of work better. And my aunt said that was interesting is like um, the tangible the math and the science and the geography, those can all be learned on YouTube, at this point. But the mental coping skills, being resilient, you can't learn
Right.
like that's something that needs to be deeply ingrained. It's not something you can look on YouTube and be like, oh, okay, so this is how you get over depression and anxiety. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to like actively work it out with people. And if you aren't doing that, then you're not going to be successful. And it was just interesting too, because where I am at school, it's a very low income community. And I kind of assumed that lower income they would have more issues, and there are external factors that definitely play into um, more increased depression and anxiety, but mental health really doesn't discriminate. And
Right.
that was something that really stood out to me about this entire project is like there's going to be someone who has a perfect life and they're smart, they're pretty, they're skinny, have everything, but it's like they're still struggling with the exact same thing someone who has nothing is struggling with.
Right.
So it's like just learning how to handle your mental health is just so important.
Right. That's incredible. That's amazing. You're wow. Where is this? Where are you planning on taking this? How so you wrote this, you went into, you investigated, and are you going to use this in any way, or was this the project for your work and then it's going to continue in any way?
Well, I want it to be published. I just did it on my website, but I've been reaching out to like different publishers and stuff. But it's funny because I'm doing journalism and I'm also doing political science, and I want to work in politics. But after this project, I was like, I'm not doing enough to help the next generation, because I feel like I'm 22, but it's like I feel like I know exactly, like, at this point, I know kind of what to do and what not to do in regards to treating people. And so I'm like, I'm like, maybe I should be a teacher or something. I don't know. But I've been thinking a lot about it because I don't think there's enough people to pour into other people's lives. So I don't know. Right now I'm just kind of really praying a lot about like where I am to go, because I graduate in the fall and there's a lot of things to do. But
Yes.
I just I don't know. I don't know. I'm at a loss right now, but I'm just thankful that I know I got to learn about what's going on, because mental health has not really ever been something I knew about, and I never really talked about. Um, but realizing that everybody struggles and there's a lot of just issues with people,
Yes.
um, that I want to be able to fix. Like,
And
honestly,
help them, and help them. It's
working
yes.
through it.
Yeah, you're so amazing. You're so dear to me, and you're so amazing, and what you do is just so awesome.
Thank you.
If you were to go back to high school Kenzie, what would you tell her? I mean, I don't think there's anything different, but what would you tell her that you learned so far? And at 22, if you could go back to, maybe 16, 17, what would you tell that Kenzie?
I would say that it's not about you. I have learned this semester was a semester that I really learned that my life is not about me. And if I am able to just champion others and be there for someone else and like see them grow, it's so much more fulfilling. And it's, if you think about you all the time, you're going to have anxiety, you're going to have depression, you're going to be insecure. And that's how I was for my whole life. And I started to realize this semester, actually, it was just weird because it was when my roommate was singing on stage. She got this awesome opportunity to go perform, and I'm sitting there and I was like overjoyed, like I couldn't even contain myself because I was so happy for her. I
Yes.
was like, "Oh my gosh, my life is not about myself." Like, I am put on this earth to serve others and love others well. So if I just could have figured that out when I was 16, oh my goodness, the amount of like heart, like depression and just insecurity that would have
Not being
not
there.
existed if I would have understood that. But I think I'm thankful that I didn't know that, because I've been through it. I mean, as much as I could. I'm only 22, but I've been through that,
Experience.
feeling helpless and hopeless. Uh, so I think I would just tell myself, like, it's not about you. Like, let's just love others really well and
Yes.
see how the fruit grows from that.
Wow. That's so powerful. Wow. I love it. Tell me now, this is another question that I keep thinking about. So you're in a community of students, and you have friends that are your age coming from different parts. What is holding students back from achieving success, from being able to, maybe go to the next level, being famous, let's say, or being, reaching levels that are their goal? What do you think is holding them back from doing that?
I think again, it's we think about ourselves so much. And I genuinely don't think that you can be successful by yourself. You can't you can't do it alone. Like, we were not called to be alone, and I think a lot of people my age, everybody really, we just are like, "Oh, I can do it by myself. I don't need any help." And it's like, "No, seeking help and do like you can't do it by yourself." So I think what holds us back is we're just scared to ask for help, or to maybe hear the answers that you don't want to hear. that kind of holds me back sometimes. I don't ask people like, okay, how could I do better? Because I'm like, I don't want to, I don't know, I don't want to know the truth. But I think we're also so caught up on being overly empathetic, rather than just speaking the truth and realizing that we can seek help and we can do this, but if you're not, um I don't know, putting in the work by bringing in a community and like trying really hard, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of what holds us back, is just we're just scared to know the truth.
Right. And to accept it
Mhm. It's
and accept it.
hard.
What's motivating you? How do you keep going? I know you mentioned earlier you pray and you're just, waiting to see which way, but what's helping you keep going and going
My
through this hardship? Because I mean it's hard to be. Are you in on campus? Or
Yeah, pretty much. I live in a house off of campus, but I'm like 5 minutes from campus.
okay.
Um, my faith has really fueled me this past year. I really grew a relationship with God in this past year, and it's been so cool to just see how that changes really everything in your life and how you see people, and that it's not about you. I mean, that is something that really just keeps me motivated, because at the end of the day, I can do all this stuff, but if it's not God's will, then it's not going to be for me. And I'm learning to just accept that and wait on His timing, because it is perfect. Um, but waking up each morning and knowing like His mercies are new every morning, and being like, okay, like I can do it.
Let's do this.
It'll happen, and however He wants it to happen is how it will happen. And I get like I struggle with just thinking worldly and like, oh, okay, well, it'd be cool to have a huge house one day. It'd be cool to have this. It'd be cool to have this. But I'm have these worldly expectations that aren't necessarily what God's gonna do for me. So just learning that, and that's really what just kind of fuels me, and just seeking to love others really well. I've been really trying to be intentional with that, because it makes me feel good. Like
Yes.
if they can feel good, I'm really happy about that, which is I'm glad about, because I think that just shows like a lot of growth. Because like a few years ago, I wouldn't have been able to even compliment someone or just be happy for them, just because I was so insecure with myself. But now I'm like, it's so much easier now, because I'm like, I have this confidence that is not my own. It is strictly from the Lord. That really helps.
It's amazing. You're so amazing. I just love watching you grow. And I think we met like 2 years ago in Colorado Springs, and I was at the house at an event, and you had friends. And just to get to know you now and just understand and really, oh, it's so powerful. You're so amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, I just love every piece of you. You're so beautiful. Um, okay, where can people find you? How can we get in touch with you? And what is it? Is it on Facebook, the social media that you can be reached at? So if there's somebody that wants to read our article and see how amazing it is this where we go to find you?
Yeah, my article's on there. Also, my it's on my website. I have a little website. It's just kenzieharms.com.
Oh my gosh, you didn't tell me about that.
I know,
Let's
I
put it
forgot.
out.
Well, it randomly deleted the other day. So my mom and I had to work really hard to like get one thing on there. So there's not really anything else, but kenzieharms.com is my little website. I haven't updated it yet, but that whole article's on there.
Okay. So let's do that. Did I spell it right?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know about the
Yeah,
website.
I forgot to tell you. I just
How did,
remembered.
how did I miss that?
That was my fault. Sorry.
So Kenzie Harms, and then we can get in touch with you there, and we can hire you to write articles about
I would love
anything and
to.
everything, and we can, talk about you and good things, and we can bring you to events, and we can talk about the political side of your experience as a college student. So you got to meet some pretty cool people, and tell me about that. That I think that's so amazing.
Yeah, it's also funny. My parents have never had the news on. I didn't know anything about anything until COVID happened. And so I started just seeing everybody's so mad and politics are going crazy. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like, I quite literally knew nothing about politics. And so I just kind of started researching because I'm like, I have nothing else to do. Let's do this. And I don't know. I just remember like my dad would talk about it in one way, and then my mom would talk about it one way. I'm like, what's the right way, or what do I think? Because I never really uh took the time to understand things by myself, rather like I listened to everybody else's opinion, but I finally started to learn like, okay, what do I actually think? Um, so then it was just fun just starting to learn about it. And then I always wanted to do sports broadcasting. And then I worked in sports, and we actually won the national championship this year when we were working for the football team. So that was cool.
Cool.
But I realized I wanted to be a fan for the team, and that politics is going to give me a way to kind of speak truth with love and understand. I'm really good at understanding every side, and I just wanted to find a way to do that, while still believing and standing true to what I believe in. So now I work on a campaign now, and so that's been fun. He's running for the United States Senate, and so if he wins in November, then I'll go to DC, and then I can work with him. But it's been fun. Just the political climate in college, especially, is crazy, and people go into college and basically turn into a different person. And I'm thankful that I don't get mad about politics. Like, if you believe something, I don't care, but I just want to like talk about it. Like,
Right.
let's
Yeah.
understand why you believe that. And then like but some people, they get mad and they'll yell and get all, and I'm like, no, I don't know. We're not going to do that. I'm just going to love you well, but I'm still going to tell you the truth. So I feel like politics gave me a way to do that, which I like.
Wow, that's such a victorious attitude. And so, if let's say I want to get into politics, what would you tell me? Where do I start?
Oh, that's a good one. First, I I look at what God would say. So
Yeah.
however God would say it, I'm like, okay, let's figure out how that goes into policy. And so I just listen to a lot of podcasts, and there's this one lady, Allie Beth Stuckey, and she just brings in politics and Jesus, and it's like politics matter because people matter, which is something which I really like how she says that, because some people, when I first started getting into politics, they were like, you can't love God and love politics, like all this stuff. And I'm like, y'all are silly. That doesn't make any sense. I was like, don't come at me for that. I can love people really well, but still want like our country to be founded on principles that we should be rooted in. So I mean, I just listen to podcasts about learning more about like how God would see it, and then I look at what legislators and stuff are saying and what policies they're trying to change, and then I'm like, okay, well, I don't believe that. This is what God says, so
That's who I am.
yeah.
You're so amazing, Kenzie Harms. Head down to you. I'm blown away, and not you like it's so amazing to know your parents and be able to work with them, and now see you and know you and learn about you. It's just absolutely amazing, and it's just so powerful. It's so dear, like I have this. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
I'm so amazed, and I'm so grateful to have you and know you, and be able to bring you live so that others get to know you and follow your example and learn from you, and just do what you do. Just be this. I don't want to say be the same, but learn, really learn, and follow your example, because you're so powerful. You're victorious and amazing, and everything that you do is wow.
Thank you. It means so much coming from you.
When I was 22, I didn't do so much stuff that's victorious like you do. I didn't even do half of it, and I'm so excited to watch you grow even more, and see you on big stages and with big people and accomplishing big dreams. What's one of your dreams that you want to accomplish? I know you're praying, I know you're waiting, but there's something there that you see up.
It's hard. I would love to have a really good family. That's something that really I would love to just have a really good family, like one day. That's something that kind of motivates me. I'm like, I would love to have like a sweet husband and sweet kids.
like your family, you guys, your family of four, and extended family, and aunts and uncles, but your family is just the perfect example, the model in my world. I keep telling Dave, when I grow up, I want to be like you.
Aww.
Yeah. Look at your mom, and she's just like my mother. She's so amazing.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for parents that raised me really well, because the more you meet people, you realize not everybody has it like you. So it is very eye-opening, just to see how well they raised us. And I know parents just kind of, it's a roll in the dark, how they're teaching us, but I'm very thankful for parents who raised us very well.
Good morning, Tom. Tom is a very dear friend of mine who's here with us today, and thank you for coming in, Tom. This has been amazing. I'm so grateful that I got to talk to you and bring you live, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about your work, and reading more articles, and reading it in a magazine that will help a ton of children. And I just want to thank you for making a difference, and for helping those children, and for being the voice for the ones that cannot speak. That's one of the things that got my attention. In your article, you were talking about how we have to help, and we have to be there for the ones that maybe don't see a way out, maybe don't understand, maybe don't know how to um, understand what they go through. And it's our responsibility to be there and see it and help them, and that's what you do, and it's so amazing.
Thank you so much. It means so much coming from you, and it's just an honor to get to do this. So I'm excited.
And you keep going, and make sure you keep going and never give up. If you ever want to give up, if you have friends that want to give up, and just decided to, no more, I don't want to, I just don't, I want to give up, how do we bring them back? How do we bring them back to God? How do we bring them back to their belief in themselves?
Taking yourself out of it. I mean, I'm really firmly believe that the more we're called to love and welcome others, and we've got to see other sides. We've got to just come together and just be a community again, and just realize like there will be people that love you and want the best for you, and you can work hard in knowing that one day it'll work. Like your mental health, it's going to be revived, and your life will be an example for anyone. Like no matter who you are, you mean something to someone, and God especially.
Yes.
But I think just working hard and remaining steadfast in whatever you believe in is just really important.
Yes, that's amazing. You're amazing, Kenzie.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
Thank you for coming and making time for me. I know time is tight, and with exams and projects and work, it's tight. I appreciate you coming live and sharing your story and your victorious, powerful attitude. You have an attitude of victory. You never give up, and going through working at the farm in Hawaii, far away from family, to fighting for the ones that can't fight for themselves. That's victorious. And I'm so honored that I could share that with everybody, with my audience, with the world, through your story.
Thank you so, so much. It means so much.
I appreciate you. Scott said, great interview. Have a wonderful day. You too, Scott. Have a good day, and We'll see you later. Kenzie, I love you.
Love
I
you.
I just want to squeeze you. I can't wait to see you here in Colorado or in Georgia in June
Yes.
at the convention, or when next time we meet, we have to hug tight. And
Yes.
I'm so thankful for you.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Stay with me. Don't leave.
Okay.
We'll be right back. I just want to thank everybody who was here with us today and for sharing, so we can help other people, inspire and motivate, and be there for them. And we appreciate you and we love you. And I will see you next time.